How would a tag team of true form Sukuna plus Mahoraga fare against the S ranks from One Punch Man? Let's talk about it. All right, shout out to Sweeze for asking me about this today. And to answer your first question, yes, I do read and watch One Punch Man. I've actually only seen season 1 because I heard season 2 fell off really bad, but I have read most of the manga. I actually am behind a bit though. Ever since Saitama versus Garo, I fell behind and I just haven't caught up yet. But that's enough to answer your question here. And I do really like One Punch Man, so I need to catch back up. But in terms of Sukuna versus the S classes, this is tough because I do think Sukuna has the offensive power to kill most all of them with his domain expansion, right? Because most of them don't have that impressive of healing capabilities, except for maybe Zombie Man, right? So if Sukuna was able to catch them in his domain, that's a win condition for them. But is he going to be able to do that is the question, because One Punch Man scales so astronomically higher than Jujutsu Kaisen, right? So most of these characters are going to speed blitz Sukuna and they would never get caught in his domain. So I don't know. I think maybe there's an argument to be made for a couple of these heroes, but by and large, Sukuna, even if we give him Mahoraga, isn't doing much here. Yes, Mahoraga can adapt to any and all phenomena, but Mahoraga is going to get dusted by most of their first attacks if they are like trying to kill him, right? So Mahoraga is never going to get the chance to adapt. So I don't really think Mahoraga brings much to Sukuna in these circumstances. All right, so honestly, of the S classes he could be, Zombie Man might be one of my first choices. And I know we just talked about how he has the most impressive healing of all of them, but he's not that like strong, you know what I mean? Like his healing is his main thing. And I do think between the domain and the fire arrow, he could probably like completely incinerate Zombie Man beyond the point that he could heal from. Maybe Zombie Man could speed blitz him, but it doesn't feel like he would be able to. So I'd probably give Sukuna the W here. Metal Knight is an interesting one because like he himself isn't that formidable. Like it's just his intellect that's his power, right? So like if Sukuna actually finds him, he's cooked. But like could his robots and inventions take down Sukuna? It's hard to think of that like working against him because like his slashes should be able to eviscerate any machinery. But like if they're fast enough that they can speed blitz him, then they could probably take him out. Like he's got enough offensive capabilities to do that. So I don't know, this one's kind of weird. Next we've got King, and this one's interesting, right? Because Sukuna could obviously wipe the floor with him. He's pretty much just a normal dude who's kind of lucked into where he is, but that luck might be his actual power, right? It might be a way for him to kind of always come out on top of any given situation. But how would that manifest in a fight against Sukuna, right? And I think the interesting thing to consider here is Mahoraga's role, because what would adapt quicker and better? Like, would Mahoraga be able to adapt to King's luck or the King engine or whatever we want to call it, right? So I think that Sukuna could probably beat him, but we might find out more about like what actually is going on with him, and then maybe I would change my answer. But I don't know, beyond those, it's just tough because again, the scaling in One Punch Man is nuts, right? They're all so fast and so strong that they could theoretically just one-shot Sukuna before he could open his domain or really pose a true threat. But again, I do think Sukuna has the capability of killing most of these people here if he got to open his domain. So I don't know. Y'all let me know your thoughts.